There's facts and there's drama. So often we get caught up in the drama of our lives. You know, from those little everyday events, like a partner or a family member saying or doing something that you don't think they should have, or the larger events in our communities and in our world, like the current changing of plans and limitations on social gatherings as a precautionary measure to lower the risk and spread of COVID-19. We live out our lives through automatic reactions and unconscious responses to those situations in our life. We fall into habitual thinking, habitual feelings, and habitual actions. The result is the life we have. And the world either becomes full of opportunity and hope and possibility, or it becomes scary and restrictive and isolating. We think it's just the truth, or it's just the way it is. But it's just an interpretation. It's just one interpretation. The good news is we're always seeing the world through our own set of filters. We have a cognitive bias, and our brain will go looking for evidence that what we believe to be true is true. And because it goes looking for that evidence, it will then reinforce the belief when it finds it. See, it must be true. Meanwhile, our brain is politely or otherwise ignoring or dismissing any evidence to the contrary. We unconsciously or consciously create the experience of living our life. It's easy to see. You know, how do I know this? Well, you can see it when we look at different people in the same situation having different responses. You know, one person's chaos is another person's calm. One person's devastation is another person's blessing. Maybe you interpret someone's behavior, something they said or did, as infuriating, whilst others might find it mildly amusing or annoying or admiring or adoring. There's probably times, if you think about it in your life, where you've chosen a different reaction at a different time to the same situation. One time it was fine, another time, not so fine. Something you used to love becomes something you're annoyed by, right? So if there's drama or chaos going on in your life at the moment, and if you're watching that live, you might be caught up in the disruption of the COVID-19 social distancing, or you might have some other drama, disruption going on in your life. If that's true, then I want to help you to keep making progress towards your goals. The disruption or the drama is never a reason to stop, despite the fact our brain loves to use it as an excuse. Hi. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Brian Granger. I'm a life coach and a weight loss coach, and I transformed my relationship with myself in 2006. When I did so, I lost 50 kilos, and I've maintained that weight loss ever since through all sorts of drama in my life. And now I help other people transform their thinking, change their habits, and reach their goals, no matter what's going on. So whether that's losing weight or anything else you want to achieve. You can check out my work and grab my 10 secrets to long-term weight loss over at livemorelife.com.au. While you're there, you might also want to check out my other videos, like last week's video number 62 on managing life's challenges. I think it's really relevant at the moment. And don't forget to grab the facts versus drama worksheet that I've prepared for today's video. You can find that link to that worksheet also in the description. When you're feeling troubled, for whatever reason, I think it's helpful to try and separate out the facts from the drama so that you can get a clear picture of what are the actual choices that you're making, and therefore the reality that you're creating. Becoming aware of our cognitive biases, becoming aware of our automatic reactions and responses helps us bring it back to a place where we can make a choice about it again. We can choose to keep it, we can choose to change it on purpose. So how do we do that? Well, I've got a series of questions that I like to use. So grab a piece of paper or grab the worksheet if you've already got it. And the first thing I want you to do is just to write out on a piece of paper for yourself what's going on. Whatever comes to you as it comes to you in your mind about the situation or about the drama, about the event, just write it all down. And I want you to note that this is just your story about what's going on. It's the interpretation that your brain has been making. So when you're doing this, watch out for the temptation to stop or to edit, to judge your story, to try and make it look better. No. Just let's get it out of your brain. We call this a thought download. Let's just get it onto paper. So get all the thoughts, exactly as petty or as mean or as brutally honest, however you want to put it. Just get it all out. Just get exactly what you're thinking and feeling. Write out your story. There's no wrong or right. You get to own your story. No one can tell you different. As you do that, as you write out your story about everything that's going on, you'll probably notice you have lots of feelings coming up. When you're believing and experiencing this version of your story, have a look at what are the predominating feelings that you are having. How does it feel to have and live this story? Now, I love that this is also an example of how our thoughts make our feelings, right? Just by writing them out, by saying them out, by putting them down on paper, you recreate them in your mind. So you'll get in touch with those feelings. And I also want to remember that there's nothing wrong with being where you are, feeling however you feel. You're a human having a human reaction. Everything is working exactly the way it should. Nothing is bad is happening just because you're having a feeling or some feelings. They're not wrong. You shouldn't be having them. They're the ones you're having. Okay, so once you've done that, we're then going to start to separate it out. And the first thing to do is go back and read over the story. Once you've written down the story, written down your feelings, go back and isolate or just pick out the facts. Write them down on a new page. So imagine if there was security footage or a recording of some description of the event, what exactly would we see? What exactly would we hear? What was exactly said or done? When you do that, you'll probably find that there's actually less facts than you think. So if you're quoting someone, write down the exact words they said, not what you made it mean, just their exact words. If they did something, exactly the action that they took. Not what you made it mean. Because the what you make it mean part, everything else, it's simply your thoughts. It's your brain's opinion. It's a thought or a series of thoughts that your brain has offered you, and probably done so without much consideration. It's just the first thing, the habitual response that comes up. And you ran with it. That's okay. That's what brains do. Perfectly normal. The thing to remember, of course, though, that these thoughts are optional. And I want you to notice that they're coming from you, from your thinking, from your interpretation of the event, not the situation or the event. You're creating them. That's fun too, because now we get to decide, right? You get to go through your story, and I would encourage you, I put a page there in the worksheet to just write out your thoughts one phrase at a time. One phrase per line, for instance, just do one phrase. Now, I say one phrase instead of one sentence because sometimes we put a couple of phrases together in a sentence. We start to combine them. and they can have different thoughts and different reactions. So just write down each thought or each phrase on one line each. I'll give you some example of some of the ones I've been hearing lately. People shouldn't panic buy, especially toilet paper. These restrictions aren't fair. The world has gone crazy. I don't get to do the things I want. That was mean. Just write them down. Notice that all of those are just opinions. It's just an option that your brain has given you that you've decided to think and believe and attach meaning to at this time. So once you've gone through your story and picked out the key phrases, the story that you've made about the situation, then I want you to do is just to take each of those phrases in isolation and ask, when I'm believing this phrase, this thought, how do I feel? Write that down. Happy, sad, glad, mad. Notice the way each of these thoughts might either reinforce a previous feeling or might create a new feeling. Remember before I asked you to give you the overall feeling of the situation, the way it all builds up and accumulates. Interestingly, if we think lots of thoughts that individually create distress or alarm or scarcity or fear or resentment or anger or frustration, and that's how we'll end up interpreting the whole thing. So really just pay attention to each one individually and just see how they're all adding up to your current interpretation. Is there a pattern? Is there a theme? Is there a trend amongst the feelings? That's why you're feeling the way you're feeling overall. It's the thoughts you're having, not the event. Once you can see that, then it's really helpful to ask, well, is it helpful? Is it serving me to keep choosing these thoughts? Is it serving the experience of my life that I'm wanting to create? Is it moving me towards the experience of my life that I want to have? If so, great, keep it. If not, remember it's optional. So it's worth exploring what else might be possible for you. And so in the next couple of pages, I encourage you to try on some new thoughts. What else might be possible here? What other interpretation could I choose that gives me a different feeling, that helps me move forward in a different way? What might someone else think in this situation? And with each, as you write them out, and remember, there's no wrong or right ones. No one can tell you what to think. You get to decide. But have a play with them, right? Check. When I think this, am I connecting to it? Am I believing it? How do I feel when I'm thinking or believing this thought? Is it different? Now, when we're finding thoughts that we like, that actually work for us better, sometimes we have to try on lots of different ones. You might need 5, 10, 50, 100 different thoughts till you find the ones that really do work for you. So it's worth having a play here. You might want to try them on, like different pieces of clothing, right? You want to find the right cut, or the right size, the right fit. Or you might think of it as trying on roles in a play, particularly if you're wanting to have a different response than you've had previously. So how might I act? What could I think that leads me to act that way? Remember, there's no right or wrong. They're just thoughts. And what you're looking for is ones that sit more comfortably for you, that give you more of the experience that you're actually looking to create, right? Now, that is not to say you should never choose so-called negative emotions or negative experience. Keep in mind that sometimes we want to have things that feel bad in our life. If something traumatic has happened, we've had some loss or something like that, we've been aggrieved, then we want to feel and experience that loss, that grief. And that's okay. We want to welcome the full range of human emotions. Sometimes they're useful for us. And sometimes we just get caught up in the drama. So I'm hoping in this process that you will start to see, where am I creating this unwanted experience in my life? And to recognize that you have the power to change that interpretation, to put different filters on, if you like, to change your experience and move yourself forward. So I encourage you to go and circle any of the thoughts that really do work for you, that do move you forward, that give you the experience that you want. And then actually go and experience them. Actually try them on. Think them on purpose for a day or two. Try them out and see what shifts. Go and live them. And then when you do, if they do give you the experience that you want, if you do find it more useful, I've given you one last page there to start writing out the thoughts that you want to keep, the ones you want to think on purpose. These are the ones that you want to keep and have in your life that enrich the experience of your life. And I encourage you to put this list somewhere where you'll see them. Maybe it's on the bedside table, or in the bathroom, near the mirror, on the fridge perhaps, somewhere where you'll see them regularly. And as you do, don't just read them like an affirmation. Really actually connect with the emotion that arises from that one, that certainty or calmness or confidence or the feeling of capable or determined, the feeling of awe or possibility or hope. Connect to those love and compassion and understanding. Look for those. And if they move you forward, keep them, practice them, and then practice living into them on purpose. Remember, I said at the start of this video that so much of our life is in unconscious reaction. And that's just a habit that we've built up over time. So if you want your life to be different, you do actually have to practice getting into that new frame of mind, the new thinking, the new feelings, by practicing them on purpose. The good news is you're totally capable of doing that. You made the ones you already have. So with practice, you'll find that you'll actually be able to do this exercise, kind of effectively completing this worksheet, even instantaneously in just a few seconds in your mind. Yes, it will take a little while. The first time or two you do it, you might need 10 minutes or so to write it all out. But with practice, with habit, you get to make it easier and easier and faster. You can start to interrupt the unhelpful drama when it comes up, which means you get to direct your brain. You get to decide, oh, wait, hang on. I'm onto your brain. That's just drama. It's not the facts. What do I want to think about this? What is the experience of my life that I want to create? Then you get to create it. So be willing to ask questions of your brain. Be willing to meet your current thinking with compassion and with curiosity and with understanding. Then choose what it is helpful for you to think and feel on purpose. Remember, loving yourself in any situation is always an option. And as Marie Forleo, one of my inspiring mentors, says, everything is figure-outable. So if this has been helpful for you, make sure you give me a like, give me a heart, give me a reaction. And if you're watching on YouTube or on my video blog, don't forget to subscribe. And let me know in the comments what you think. If you do know someone who might be helped by seeing this video, by having this information, by getting the worksheet, then please send them the link, tag them in the comments. And of course, if you need more help separating out the drama from the facts, or finding the thoughts that actually move you forward into your life and practicing living them, then let's have a conversation. That's one of the great powers of having a coach on your side. Remember, you can head to livemorelife.com.au and request a free consultation. I'd love to talk with you. For now, let me know in the comments. What will you question this week? What drama will you reinterpret? While you're at it, remember these facts. You are amazing. You get to choose what works for you. You can do it, no matter what. Have a great week, and I'll talk with you soon. Bye for now.